So we're looking at week 5, day 3 today. And first question is, which is greater? And I'm going to use the values of 2 and 3/5 or 2 and 3/8. So the first thing I'm going to ask you is, what do you notice? What's the same and what's different? Okay, so both have a whole number of 2. Both have a numerator of 3. What's different then? We have a denominator of 5 and we have a denominator of 8. So to begin with, I'm going to ignore my 2 wholes because they're both the same. Okay, so they're both the same. What I'm interested in is whether 3/5 is greater or less than 3/8. Is 3/5 greater or less than 3/8? Okay, so you need to think of your whole again. You've got your whole and you're going to split one whole into 8 equal parts, as equal as I can get them. Then you're going to split the other whole into 5 equal parts. Let's see if I can do this. 1, 2, oh. Okay, let's have another go. Make it a little bit smaller. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Lovely. Okay, I've got my 3/8, 1/8, 2/8, 3/8, and I've got my 3/5, 1/5, 2/5, 3/5. So you can see pictorially that my 3/5 is greater than my 3/8. If you're thinking about these both as a whole, or remember, like we said the other day, sharing out a pizza or a cake, you know that if you're sharing something into 5 equal parts, there are fewer parts than there are if you're sharing them into 8 equal parts. I would want one of these bigger slices, yeah, than I would one of those smaller slices. Okay, so that should help you with question 1. All right, missing fractions. Again, what are we looking for when we've got missing numbers? What are we trying to spot? Are we just guessing randomly and popping in, well, it could be this? We're not. If you've got a sequence, there's going to be a pattern. So again, ask yourself, what's the same? What's different? Okay, so what's the same? I like starting with what's the same. Yep, you're absolutely right. They all have a denominator of 14. So what's different? Okay, they're all odd numbers, absolutely. But is there anything that they have in common? So what's the difference between 13 and 11? Okay, it's a difference of 2/14 here, isn't there? So here we've got a difference of 2/14. We've taken away 2/14. Right, what's the difference between 11/14 and 7/14? And remember, we've got this missing number in here. The difference between those is 4/14. So let's see if we can continue the pattern. If I take away another 2/14, I would get 9/14. Let's see if it still fits. If I take away another 2/14, I will get, oops, sorry, I can't see that very well. Will I get 7/14? Yes, I will. So my missing fraction for this sequence is 9/14 because we've spotted a pattern that it's decreasing in value by 2/14 each time. Lovely. Okay, there are a good few tutorials on the GCMS TV channel for multiplying 2-digit numbers by 2-digit numbers in various different ways. I'm just going to use the formal written method for this one. Okay, so we're looking at our 1s times our 1s. Remember, if it helps you to put the 10s and the 1s as the column headings, pop them on. 1s times our 1s is going to give me 6, and then my 1s times my 10s is going to give me 12. Bring your 0 down because we are multiplying by a multiple of 10, so there's never going to be any 1s. Good. So I'm going to multiply my 10s by my 1s, which is going to give me 4 10s, and I'm going to multiply my 10s by my 10s, which is going to give me 8, and then I have to add them together, and then I get my answer. So I've got 6 add 0 is 6, 2 add 4 is 6, 8 add 1 is 9. I should have 966. Really important that these place value columns are really obvious, so we're not getting our 1s and our 10s and our 100s mixed up. Okay, lovely. Okay, rounding to 76 to the nearest whole. Now, we looked at one of these last week, didn't we? And remember, I said if you've forgotten, you're rounding it to the nearest, was it 100? Nearest 100? think it was. We're rounding it to the nearest 100. Where does 76 fit on your number line? You've got 0, you've got 100. Well, we know it's about here. Is it closer to 100 or is it closer to 0? Is it past that halfway point of 50? Yes, it is. So you would round it up to 100. Round up to 100. I'm just going to show you, just in case that number was actually 7.6, how you would round that to the nearest whole number, okay? So if it's to the nearest whole number, you need to think, right, which two whole numbers does 7 point something lie between? It lies between 7 and it lies between 8. And you do the exact same thing. You think, right, what's the halfway point between 7 and 8? Well, it's 7.5, isn't it? 7 1/2, which we know we write as a decimal, sorry, as 7.5. Okay, it's 7.5. Pop your 7.6 on the number line about here, and you can see it's past that halfway point. So you would round that up to 8 if it was a whole number. Okay, I hope that helps.